I think we're going to have Lino go through the next slide. Take us a little bit through kind of a broad look at some of the considerations that we go through at L-Tron through the discovery process. Lino?
Hi, thanks. About what L-Tron does is that we spend a lot of time up front with the customer and really exploring and discovering their needs. And what that affords us is that we eliminate headaches and phone calls at the end of the project. We certainly want this to be successful, but in order to do that, we ask a lot of questions. And as we start asking questions, they lead to more questions. So it becomes, pretty self-absorbing when, you get these questions upon questions. But the thing is, it leads us to discover what your actual business model and business needs are. So as Kevin mentioned, is that, do you need, the 27 functions on a service call? Well, maybe, maybe not. Again, it depends on your business model and what makes sense for you. So we find out what you do, how you currently do what you do, and what are your visions on what you want to do, and why you want to do that. So as we go through this study, we can get as granular as we need it to be, or as you want it to be. And sometimes, we find things that are really obvious. Let's say, you're doing a lot of paperwork and you're shuffling papers all around. You're losing papers. You have bad inventory control, and so on. And, sometimes it takes a lot more to get to the heart of the matters because the information is not always readily available. But the bottom line is that we do most of our work up front, and then we find that practice always leads to successful projects and implementations. We spend it all on discovery, project management, doing the requirements documentation. So we have a good feel for what you need, and you have a good idea of what you need too. Because a lot of times with our questions and with your answers, you discover a lot about your business as well.
Yeah.
So,
I was just to say this is a great overview of really, for someone, as we talked about a little bit earlier in the polling questions, for some of those that have not really launched into field mobility and really are kind of educating themselves in this emerging market, this is a great place to at least start. So here's some good, solid, tactical information to start asking. So
and as one of the earlier slides stated with the Aberdeen group, is that a proper implementation, and that's what we work on, getting proper implementations that suit your business and where and how you want to grow. So we do a lot of work up front and make sure that we all have the same vision and goals. But again, in the discovery process, the last question is, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to incorporate some newer methods of doing business, efficient methods of doing business? And you know what? You have to ask your question that as well, and that's going to lead to Lynn's next step here.
Yep.
Why do you want to do?
Yep. Actually, I've got a poll question, and then we're just about finished here. Okay. What are the top pressures in your service business? These are a lot of what folks have shared with us in the past. So you can go ahead and vote. Just give it a couple seconds here. We're almost through. Everybody voting? Excellent. All right, I'm going to close it out and share the information with everyone. So we're pretty much split between three sections, and I'm not surprised again with this information, having had conversations with clients as well as internal folks here. So this, Daniela, do you have any comments on this at all? Pretty much what you've seen as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it is really what I've heard. A lot of people are concerned about the increasing service-related costs or decreasing service-related costs, and keeping up with their competitors.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. And actually, Donella, you've had the opportunity to speak with a lot of folks in the industry recently, and I thought perhaps it would be great to have you share a little bit about what your findings are from your perspective and take us through this slide as well.
Okay. Yeah, I love this slide because this is honestly what I'm hearing and what I'm talking to different people in HVAC and plumbing about. And really the question you really need to ask yourself, I mean, you've invested 30 minutes of your time in this webinar, so obviously this is something worthwhile to your business, but take the time to ask yourself, what would it mean to your business if your technicians could handle 20% more calls? I mean, that alone is huge, but when you couple it with all these other improvements that are found in case study after case study after case study, it's definitely significant. And given that you've been here for 30 minutes and we've kind of shown you what you could expect from it, I think it's worth looking into and talking to somebody here, maybe talking to one of our engineers or technicians about what it would mean for you. I mean, we're able to customize it for what your needs are, and no one knows that better than you. So, partnering with us, we're able to kind of develop a plan for you, and really take a minute to ask yourself these questions. If you could invoice people, if your time in collections dropped by 15%, if you had your money that much quicker, what would that mean to your business? Those are huge and significant savings. And I always say, you guys are working so hard out there. You need to squeeze every bit of profit that you can, because you've earned it, and you don't want to be giving that away to inefficiency. I mean, really, that's about all.
Okay, thanks, Donella. I appreciate that. We're running just a little bit behind here, so I'm just going to, we've had a couple of questions come in, so I'm going to go ahead and field those. And the first one actually is for Lino, I believe. Someone has asked, most of my company is located in the Verizon network, but I have 8 techs who work in an area with Sprint coverage. Does this create a problem? And what if a tech goes to an area out of service? Lino, would you be able to help us with that?
Yeah, the simple answer is that it usually isn't a problem with today's technology, because a lot of the handheld computers and even some of the smartphones have a software switchable radio. So whether it's on Verizon, Sprint, or AT&T, you can control that with the software most of the time. As far as out of coverage, your application, excuse me, your application would be smart enough to say, or would transmit when you do have coverage. But if you ran into the situation where you didn't have coverage, your application would do a store and forward or a batching application where it would store the information that you entered, and then once you did get into coverage, it would transmit that and resync, with other data that would possibly be queued up on the customer's end that would send it back down.
Thanks, Lino.
Hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the next one is, once the field mobility system is deployed, what type of support will it need? And this person is saying that, note that I do not have an IT staff.
Oh.
And that's for you, Lino, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, there are different ways you can approach this, and that's part of the discovery process as well, to see what resources are available on customers' end, and also what we can provide. Now, we have customers that have their own IT staffs, and we have customers that don't have any. So what that means is that we work with them to provide a hosting service, and they can access that, and we would have access to some of their data as well. and just go back and forth. I'm not going to get too far into that, but yes, it can be done, and there are ways that we've worked with customers in the past to do that.
Excellent. Well, we've got a couple more questions here, and anyone that does have any additional questions can also send them via the question section on this, and if we don't get to all of them right now, we can certainly make sure that we get the information back over to you. Rich, this might be one for you. How long does it take to see a positive return on investment on a field mobility system for a company with 4 to 5 technicians?
This is Rich Reedman. I'm the solution sales person at L-Tron, and we usually see primarily anywhere from 6 months to a year to 2 years return on investment on one of these solutions. It depends on how complex the solution gets, but that's generally in the ballpark of 6 months to a year to 2 years. That's it.
Well, you know what else, Rich? You have said to me a bunch of times too that it really depends a lot on how much they're doing manually already. If your company is all manual and you're not automated at all, wouldn't you say, Rich, that you'd see a much quicker return on investment than if you're partial or?
Yeah, that's why I gave the range. The 6 month range would be if you haven't had any automation. If you have some automation, then it would be a longer, and it might be a tweaking. It might be providing better customer service. Certainly, getting better customer service results in better sales, results in a return on investment that may take a little bit longer. It may take a year or so. And that's for somebody who's already done a little bit of automation, may have be using smartphones today and is looking to up that to a different level of technology. So yeah, but 6 months would be something that we would see primarily for somebody that hasn't done any automation. So
right.
So
okay.
Thank you.
Rich. All right. Well, we're definitely running out of time. So if there are any other additional questions, please feel free to reach out. And Donella, actually, I've got your contact information on the next slide. Our 800 number as well as Donella's email address. We'd like to thank everyone for your time today, and we hope this was a valuable time for you. We've definitely run out of time, so we will be contacting the winner of the 30-minute consultation with L-Tron shortly. And also, we're planning on sending out a short survey, which we hope everyone will participate in. And again, thank you for your participation. Most definitely, if we don't connect with you and you want to connect with us again, please contact Donella. And I want to repeat this webinar will be posted on the L-Tron website in the near future. And we look forward to hopefully catching up with you. Thank you.